doing a lot of talking here today. But Doretta had asked if I wanted to do the scripture this morning, and I said, yeah. And I love the scripture. And before I read it, I just wanted to, last week you may have heard me mention that I just really love last week's scripture about doubting Thomas, right? And the week before on Easter, when Mary Magdalene comes to the tomb and sees that it's empty, and she's searching and wondering what this all means, and she's grieving at the same time. And I just love these passages of this Eastertide because they show us that Jesus comes to Mary, who's confused and bewildered and not sure what to make of all this. He comes to the disciples who are hiding behind locked doors because they're scared to death about what's going to happen to them and what this all means in their lives. And he comes to Thomas, who just says, no way am I going to believe what my colleague said to me. I don't see it for myself. And then today, in this passage, when the disciples are found out fishing from where they came, going back to what they knew, to the familiar, not ready to step forward yet and fully understand what their call has been. So from John 21, verses 1 through 19, Jesus showed himself again to the disciples by the Sea of Tiberias. And he showed himself in this way. Gathered there together with Simon Peter, Thomas called the twin, Nathanael of Cana in Galilee, the sons of Zebedee, and two others of his disciples. Simon Peter said to them, I'm going fishing. And they said to him, we'll go with you. And they went out and got into the boat. But that night they caught nothing. It might hearken us back to an earlier time when he calls the disciples. Just after daybreak, Jesus stood on the beach, but the disciples did not know that it was Jesus. And he said to them, children, you have no fish, have you? They answered him, no. And he said to them, cast the net to the right side of the boat, and you will find some. So they cast it. And now they were not able to haul it in because there were so many fish. That disciple whom Jesus loved said to Peter, it is the Lord. And when Simon Peter heard that it was the Lord, he put on some clothes, for he was naked, and he jumped into the sea. I love that image. He just jumped in, filled with enthusiasm. But the other disciples came in the boat, dragging the full net of fish, for they were not far from the land, only about 100 yards off. And when they had gone ashore, they saw a charcoal fire there with fish on it and bread. And Jesus said to them, bring some of the fish that you have caught. So Simon Peter went aboard and hauled the net ashore, full of large fish, 153 of them. And though there were so many, the net was not torn. And Jesus said, come and have breakfast. Now none of the disciples dared to ask him, who are you? Because they knew it was the Lord. And Jesus came and took the bread and gave it to them and did the same with the fish. This was now the third time that Jesus had appeared to the disciples after he was raised from the dead. And when they had finished breakfast, Jesus said to Simon Peter, Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these? And he said to him, yes, Lord, you know that I love you. And Jesus said to him, feed my lambs. A second time he said to him, Simon, son of John, do you love me? He said to him, yes, Lord, you know that I love you. And Jesus said to him, tend my sheep. And he said to him the third time, Simon, son of John, do you love me? Well, Peter felt hurt because he had said to him a third time, do you love me? And he said to him, Lord, you know everything. You know that I love you. And Jesus said to him, feed my sheep. And after this, he said, follow me. Here ends this reading of God's holy word.